Thank you for joining us on Suncoast FYI. I'm your host, Nancy O'Neill. Our guests today are Rex Trochet, Chief of the Sarasota Police Department, Mary Benzel, Executive Director for the Van Wezel, and Sandra Frank, CEO of All Faiths Food Bank. Chief Trochet, as one might imagine, has a very busy schedule, yet he has added a new dimension to the scope of his work. Chief Trochet recently launched a free podcast called Chat with the Chief, and he's here to share all the details with us. Well, thank you for taking more time out of your busy schedule to be here. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Pleasure to meet you.
Honestly, thank you
for having me.
Of course. What prompted you to start your podcast, Chief?
So the reason we started the podcast, there's a few things involved there. First off, COVID really separated us from people, right? Meetings were canceled. We couldn't have these town halls that we like to have. And then the second part is sometimes when we would have these town halls, not many people would show up. And quite often it was more officers than people that were there. So I was talking one day with my kids and I noticed they're into these podcasts and I'm like, there might be something here. They're telling me how they listen to it in the car or when they're working out. And then I just had the idea, why don't we do a podcast, essentially a town hall podcast, where people can listen to it on different topics while they're working out, cooking, taking a walk with their dog. And I just thought that would be easier and we would be showing more respect for other people's time as well, because they could listen to it anytime they wanted to.
And I know that you have numerous social media platforms. I mean, you're on Spotify and Instagram and
YouTube.
YouTube.
I'm old, so I say YouTube, but my kids would say a bunch of others. But yeah, we try to hit all the social platforms. And actually what's great about this podcast is you can listen to it on all of those. You can even listen to it on YouTube. I was talking to a friend the other day, he's like, I'm trying to listen to your podcast, but I don't have Spotify and I don't have this. And I said, do you have YouTube? And he's like, well, yeah. I go, you can listen to it on YouTube.
I found it.
Yeah.
So, if I can do it, there are people out there that, it's easier to do.
We try to make it easy.
Yeah. So what are you hoping to accomplish with your podcasts, sir?
I'm really trying to humanize police. I'm really trying to show that there's another side to police officers, that they have families, they live in the same community, they have the same dreams and aspirations as everyone else. Hopefully in some of the interviews it's funny and they see that officers do have a sense of humor. We weren't born a certain way out of a certain box and then chiseled out and then this is what we are.
Sure.
We all at some point wanted to be doctors, lawyers, business people, and for whatever reason this is what came into our life. And also I'm just trying to get information out. And what's great is people can send in questions. So we try to cover that throughout the interview and the podcast, but if we don't, then we'll just ask the questions straight from the piece of paper if they didn't come up. And we're just trying to communicate to the people in the community what's going on, what we're doing about it, because sometimes I think people don't see us.
Sure.
And they think we're not there doing anything about it. Right. So when we tell them about the numbers and the number of contacts or number of citations we're writing, or some of the challenges that we agree with when it comes to certain areas in the city about roundabouts, we get it.
And you talk about that on one of your podcasts. What are some of the other topics that you've covered recently?
Yeah, so we talk about traffic and roundabouts in one episode, and we just ask people to show grace when they're going into roundabouts, right? To show a little grace and have a little patience.
Yes.
And then the other one is our homeless outreach team, which everyone's concerned about homelessness. And so we want to explain to them that we are doing things about it, that we have teams of people out there. You may not see them, but they're out there. And I kind of liken it to a construction site. You might drive by a construction site and go, oh, there's the bulldozer, there's a guy standing there, they're not doing anything.
Right.
But then you come back after work and you're like, it's halfway built.
Exactly.
Well, it happens when you're not seeing it, and that's what we're trying to convey as well. And then the third one was a iPad technology giveaway within the city as well, to just an underserved population that we thought was really important to explain to the city why we're doing it and show that yes, we're police officers, and yes, we enforce the law, but we also address social issues. And so we thought that would be just a great way to get that message out.
Now, what type of feedback have you received so far? I know there's pros and cons,
Yeah.
and you can't make everybody happy,
Yeah.
but what do you feel that you can take away that feels good?
I think the majority, the 80 to 90% of the people are very appreciative of the communication and then the feedback that we get from social media. And listen, it's not always going to be positive. We can't appease everybody.
Right.
We do try to, but if people are just patient and they understand that we're trying to do the best for the community, not just take people to jail, we're trying to help people socially as well, so that they can have opportunities with employment, school, so they can better themselves, and it really does reduce crime on the other end.
Well, I think when people, like you said, see you as a human being and not just a uniform. I think when you get out there in the community and do things, I know you were talking about on one of them, that you give backpacks out to kids before they go back to school, or haircuts, so that they look good and they feel good about themselves. It's all about, your perception.
Right.
And you want to be just another one of us.
Right.
Basically.
And it's funny you say that, because we always say if you look good, you're going to feel good, and you feel good, you're going to do good.
Yeah.
And we want that first day of kids going back to school to feel confident about themselves, so that they immerse themselves in their studies and they just do better. That's all we ask.
Well, we're going to run all of the platforms across the bottom of the screen so people will know how to find you.
Yes, ma'am.
And just a personal question. Where is it taped? Because I listened to it and I'm thinking,
Yeah.
where do they do this? Because it's not in the studio.
Yeah, we kicked around a few ideas, and then eventually we decided that we were going to tape them in our interview and interrogation rooms.
That must make your guests feel comfortable.
Right. It's kind of awkward when they first come in there. They don't know if they're being read Miranda rights, and they should have their attorney. But we joke about it all the time. But really, it's really worked out very well for us, and
great.
We're sitting very close. It's intimate, and we love it. We love it.
Well, I look forward to listening to more of your podcasts, sir. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
What's Friday Fest at the Van Wezel? Well, it sounds exciting, so stay with us and we'll learn more. When you think of the Van Wezel, what comes to your mind? For me, I know it's just going to be a fabulous experience, and the person who makes that magic that we all love happen is Mary Benzel, their executive director, and of course her amazing team.
Yes, I have a great team.
You do. It takes a team.
It does take
to
a
do what you
team.
do,
It
but
does.
there has to be a leader, and you do such a fantastic
Well, I enjoy
job.
it. I don't enjoy some of the rules sometimes that come our way, but I enjoy theater so much. And I was last weekend, I was in New York City and saw 3 shows, and yesterday I voted for the Tony Awards, so I hope my picks win, and
It's like
that's
picking the
Sunday
winner of
night.
a horse, right? It's
Yeah,
like-
yeah. It's like, but I enjoy that very much.
Oh, okay, but today we're going to talk about Friday Fest.
Yes, our
And
free concert
yes,
series.
for those of our viewers who don't know what that is, or just recently to
Friday
the area.
Fest is one of my favorite things, and the staff's favorite things. The only thing we don't like is the uncertainty of, is it going to rain?
Oh,
Because,
gosh.
in Florida, but it's our free concert series that's set outside on our gorgeous bay, and in our brand new park that is going full storm.
Just
I
beautiful.
met the new director of the park yesterday. And so we have people strolling through the park, and we have a band, and it's free. You come in, you bring a blanket, or if you're my age, you bring chairs. Because if I had to get off the blanket, boy, it'd be a long afternoon.
Oh, man.
And then people dance down front to the bands. And then, of course, the sun goes down, people sail by, and we laugh because sometimes that wedding chapel thing goes by,
Oh,
and
gee.
the bar one,
Yep,
and it's
yep.
just great to be out there. And
So you
have
get a
people
free
of
show.
all
Yeah,
ages.
I mean,
Yeah, and it's a
that's
free
great,
show,
great.
and the music's great. And then, of course, we have vendors, local vendors that come in. You could get a beer or a glass of wine, a hamburger, an ice cream, and it's really wonderful.
Okay, so what concerts are going to be
Yeah,
taking place this
so I
year?
have these written down, and everybody has to bear with me because I have new eyes here. I had cataract surgery, but June 16th is our first one, and it's Kettle of Fish. And Kettle of
they're
Fish
great.
plays blues music, and they say festival music, which I don't know what that means, but I just know I love them, you know. And then on July the 21st. We have one of my favorites, which is One Night Rodeo, which is country. And you know, country's been around forever, but I've loved the new country, and so it's a lot of fun to dance to. And then in August, on the 11th, we have 1076, which is a new band for us, and they do cover songs from the 80s and the 90s, which is probably one of my favorites. You know, is hearing all those great songs from when I was younger. You know, and
Bring
then
back great memories.
I guess our favorite band, because they've been with us so much, and you know, is Jaw Movement, and they're on September 22nd, and they play reggae, they play all sorts of things, and we've got to see the little boy who was the son of the leader grow up and play the drums, and it's so amazing, and it's just everybody just has a great time. You know, there's no problems. It's free. We give away gifts. You know, we have different anchors from the stations come and you know, introduce the shows. So it's just an overall great time. The only bad thing is if it rains.
If it rains.
If it rains,
I know.
you know.
And we always ask.
Please don't rain.
Not right now.
Not right now. Rain tomorrow.
Yeah.
You know, but it's a Friday night, and
What time do they
well,
start,
people
Mary?
start coming around 4 or 4:30, but it's really, you know, 5 to 9, and the bands get going around 5:30, and it's
Do you have a stage set up?
yeah, we have a stage, and it's set up right in front of the bay, so you can look at the bay right behind, and you know, it's just a lovely time. And you know, people bring their dogs. I've brought my little Yorkie. She loves it there, and you know, during COVID, it was one of the free spaces that you know, that people felt comfortable going to, and so it really now is just joyful because we don't, you know, have to worry. Well, we worry about COVID, you know, but we don't focus on it so much. And you're outside, which is great because, you know, lots of circulation. And I said, with the new park, it's such a beautiful setting.
Wonderful. Now, obviously, there's a lot more going on,
Oh gosh,
as
yes.
there always is.
Yes.
What can we expect for
Well,
the
we
next
have
season?
we have a new season out, and it's our biggest season we've ever had. And of course, I feel like I say that just like, you know, on these shows like The Bachelorette, the most exciting, but it is the biggest. We have Hamilton coming, which is really
Oh my
amazing.
gosh, yes.
And then Hadestown, which is produced actually by a part-time Sarasota resident, Tom Crede, who lives on Longboat Key, and he's a producer. He has a new show in New York called New York, New York, and his show Hadestown is coming. And then we have the show about the Temptations, Ain't Too Proud, and
That's
the
fabulous.
choreography in that. And of course,
Yes.
it's about the life and times of the Temptations. We have the Cher show, and that's great fun. They need 3 women to play Cher, you know, because young Cher, you know, glamorous Cher, and older Cher, but it's just all those huge hits. And of course, we have a
And
Sunny.
the clothes.
The Bob
Oh my
Mackie
gosh,
clothes.
I saw it in New York.
Oh my gosh.
And
then
I just enjoyed it. So I've told
Oh, yeah.
all of my friends about it.
oh,
You
it's a
gotta go
lot of
see it.
fun.
Yeah.
And then we have Jagged Little Pill coming. We have for the kids, we have ogres, you know, we have Shrek, you know, we have green people and green people in the purple building, and we have all sorts of shows. Then coming, we've announced some of the hit performers like David Foster and Catherine McPhee are coming back, you know, but we're announcing the whole lineup in August, and then we go on sale for all the single tickets in September, except for Hamilton is going on sale much later. So I tell everybody, if you want to see Hamilton, subscribe to our season. It will be the cheapest ticket you can get to Hamilton, cheapest ticket to any of the Broadway shows, and we have about 8 of them this year, but a subscription you can get for 4 shows. Hamilton is not in that package, but it's in the 7-show package, and a subscription's the way to go, because then you know you have the best seat in the house and the best price, and that's what we like.
Okay. And everybody can go online
Yes,
and see
see
all
it.
of the different shows
Yep.
and
And we're really
tickets.
starting shows in September with the Rocky Horror Show. We're showing the film. Do you know I've never seen that ever? And Barry Bostwick is
Well,
coming.
you'll be surprised.
I hear.
Thank you, Mary, for
Okay.
coming.
Thank you for having me.
You'll enjoy it, but be prepared.
Thank you. Okay.
Up next, the 10th anniversary of the Summer Hunger Campaign, so please stay with us. When school ends, so do the regular meals for the most vulnerable, our children. 10 years ago, All Faiths Food Bank began their Summer Hunger Campaign to overcome this very troubling problem. Sandra Frank, CEO of All Faiths Food Bank, joins us to share how we can all help with this problem. Thank you again for being here
Thank you so
and for doing such a marvelous job for the past 10 years. The 10th anniversary,
Yeah.
how did we get here and what can you tell us about it?
You know, it's when you say 10th anniversary, it was sort of overwhelmed by that. It doesn't seem that long, but yes, about 10 years ago, we realized that summer was a very, very vulnerable time for
Yep.
children,
Yep.
Especially those who were receiving the free and reduced meals. So we had provided backpacks in schools, and we had school pantries in the schools. But what we thought we'd better do is try to quantify that. And so we did a study along with one of the local foundations and we worked with the school district and asked the kids in the schools, are you experiencing hunger and is your family experiencing hunger? And what we did not expect was the feedback and the high level of concern that children had about hunger in their own families, which surprised us. In fact, I remember it made the front page of the Herald Tribune above the fold. That study was so shocking to all of us.
Well, I looked at your website and the numbers, the percentages are staggering. It's so sad.
It's hard to believe.
And so whatever we don't get to talk about today, our viewers should go to your website
Thank you.
to find out
Yes.
more.
Thank you.
More details. So talk to us about the campaign
Yes.
that's currently ongoing.
Ongoing, yes. So from our studies, from our findings, we launched the campaign against summer hunger. And its sole purpose is to feed children over the summer months when they are most likely to be hungry, making sure they start the school year ready to learn and thrive. So the campaign really has two components. One is a fundraising piece, and the other piece is the feeding the kids piece of it. So the fundraising launches around April 1 every year, and we ask our private donors, our investors, we call them, to give a gift that will be matched. And each year they have given between $900,000 and $1 million, $900,000 and $1 million, and we take that to the public to match. So this year we have about a $2 million investment we can make in food for children. And we started feeding kids last week. I think school ended last week, so we are already out there making sure kids have food over the summer months.
How do you get the food to the children?
Yeah. Oh, we're so creative because you think the kids are not in any one space and they're everywhere over the summer months. So we have 115 plus partners. It's all about partnership and collaboration with the community. Where are kids going to be? So we have relationships with, and we build relationships with all kinds of organizations to reach children. And every year we reach about 35,000 kids and provide food over the summer months through creative and innovative partnerships throughout this entire community.
And it's not just the children, I think, that you're actually taking care of. You're taking care of the families.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, we work. We need to keep that in mind because even though there may be a child in school who we know would be hungry, they've got siblings at home. They have younger siblings at home that we aren't even able to count. So it is the whole family we're taking care of and really targeting the families with kids, with young children.
So after 10 years, what are your hopes going forward?
Yeah, so it's been a phenomenal 10 years, 11 years for me. For the food bank itself, we've really begun to focus more on underlying causes of hunger so that we can end hunger before it begins. We've changed our mission to ending hunger. So a lot of effort now is on the front end of this. What brings a family to the place where they need a food bank and a food pantry. So a lot of our efforts are put there these days. We have a new strategic plan in place. We are addressing areas, rural areas where hunger is the most severe. We're just doing a lot of creative things moving forward over the next 3 to 5 years based on that strategic plan.
Now, you're retiring.
Yeah, I am, but thank goodness I've got a very powerful team, a strong team back at the food bank. We've got some wonderful people working in the warehouses who will keep up this good work. So we have a plan moving forward. I will be retiring. The position was posted just this week, and I know they'll find someone absolutely phenomenal to be the CEO of All Faiths Food Bank.
Well, it will be a hard job, hard to fill, but I know that you'll be there to guide them along and give some input on going forward.
Yes, I'm absolutely confident in the team we have and in the selection process. They'll get the right person. They'll get a star in that role. It'll be great.
Well, thank you for all of your work and dedication after all of these years.
Thank you.
And
My
here we
pleasure.
are.
Here we are. My
Here we are.
pleasure, my joy.
Thank you, Sandra.
Thank you so much.
We hope you enjoyed the show today, and thank you for joining us on Suncoast FYI. If you would like to promote your nonprofit or community event, we would love to hear from you, and this is a complimentary service. Please call our producer, Adam Huntley, at 941-361-4645, or email fyi@snnTV.com. To view previous episodes, go to snnTV.com and click on the What's On tab. I'm Nancy O'Neill, and we'll see you next week on Suncoast FYI.